Okay, so welcome to an episode of hentai to listen. As per our agreement, at the beginning of the year, if Matt doesn't come over, I will post a regular solo episode. Reason why is, well, after 2 years, it finally happened. I tested positive for COVID. This was back on the 9th. Well, technically, I tested on the 9th, which was last Wednesday, which was positive, but I got it. Well, I went through it on Saturday, which was the 5th. So that was fun. I thought it didn't occur to me it was COVID until later on. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure 20%. I'm sure I got it at when I was picking up a pizza at Pizza Hut night prior, or I can't remember if it was the night prior to Friday or not. 80% I got it at work, and then Friday came around. I felt fine, about to go into work. All of a sudden, my back started hurting. Probably an hour or so into working. I work at UPS, so move a lot of weight. So I figured, shit, I didn't stretch, and my back just started hurting. And then if I bend over or whatnot, start moving carts, I felt a little dizzy, but not quite. But you do one sharp turn, head movement, and you kind of felt dizzy. That's what it kind of felt like. And then next thing I know, Saturday, I'm pouring with sweat. I'm cold 1 minute. I'm hot. I'm sweating. My shirt's drenched with sweat and whatnot. Again, it didn't occur to me that I had COVID. So, and then a couple days later, I realized I'm hungry, but I have no sense of appetite at all. And at some point, I'm like, you know what? Let me get tested. And like I said, I got tested on 9th. Did one of those up in the nose, get the results in 15, 20 minutes. Lo and behold, I had COVID. I'm like, no shit. After 2 years of not getting it, I finally got it. And then I tested again last Friday, which was, what day was that? The 11th. Tested again up the nose. This time it was negative. I might as well tell Matt what was going on. Say, hey, I tested positive the 9th, a negative on the 11th. Say, hey, if it's up to you if you want to come over or whatnot. I don't blame you if you don't. He said, I'll just. I think him and Tanika were going out of town. They didn't want to take the chance, so that's why I didn't record last night as of this recording on a Monday the 14th. So here we are. Here I am. I guarantee. So at the same day I tested negative, I actually finally got the first shot. Second one's the next month. So with that being said, since I am now halfway getting vaccinated, I guess I'm going to Anna Minneapolis. I haven't told Matt yet, but as of right now, might as well, since I am, by the time I'll be fully vaccinated by the time Anna Minneapolis comes around. And with that, you guys might actually see me in my hentai Pope cosplay. Still waiting on to test run the pattern and whatnot. So look for that. In the meantime, what else can I talk about? Normally I would talk about some uh, big long monologue I will go through as of today. Last night, Super Bowl was pretty decent. Glad the Rams won. Uh, if they didn't win, it would have sucked for OBJ because he was with that knee injury and everything like that. The Super Bowl halftime show pretty decent. Pretty decent considering majority of it was pretty much everything produced by Dre. Um, Later on, everybody was expecting Ice Cube to be there, but as memory serves, I don't think he produced any of Ice Cube's solo songs, other than the collaboration works, um, Natural Born Killers. But I don't think they wanted him there because he's unvaccinated and whatnot. But other than that, not a bad show. That was a lot of people, of unpaid workforce that was in there. If you haven't read that report before, there was a lot of extra dancers getting unpaid, working 9 hours a day for the past couple weeks. So yeah, unpaid labor force, and they just got what they get there in the Super Bowl halftime show. That same day, I watched the first 3 episodes of Bel Air. Now, earlier in the season of these episodes, I said, well, Bel Air just seems more like a basketball version of All American on the CW. Well, I was kind of half wrong, half right. The first 3 episodes, big change. It started out with Will in Philadelphia versus just him popping up in Bel Air, what have you. And then, well, let's talk about some of the changes in itself. Well, as you know, this is going to be more of a drama than a comedy. This time we see Will, like I said, in basketball, state, or not state, but, he's in the basketball versus we didn't know what he was into as far as prior to the 90s version. We just, him popping up, say, hey, it's just a little fight, I'm going to Bel Air with your aunt and uncle. And once he got there, say, hey, I'm cousins. Like, oh, hey, you're our poor cousins from Philly, about to hang with us rich folks, and everything like that. With that being said, at first, like I said, way back when, I thought this was going to be another All-American type scenario. It kind of is, and it kind of isn't. Where do we really begin? Honestly, I don't think they should have made this a drama. They should have just remade this a comedy. Reason for it is because drama's pretty easy when it comes to, I guess, a black cast and the problems it goes with along with that. Black family living it in a white society and trying to quote unquote code switch. If you do not know what code switching is, it's basically a term where black folks can talk one way of to one certain crowd and then talk another way to another certain crowd, i.e., white folks. And that's what it kind of drew, at least for the pilot episode, especially with Carlton. You saw that right off the bat during the locker room scene. when there were, majority of the white cast members, characters, I should say, where, let's just say, dropping the N word, and, Will is like, yo, that's not cool. Carlton, why are you condoning this and whatnot, and what have you. As far as the casting goes, I'm kind of skipping ahead there. And then you pretty much kind of seen this play out the first episode, couple episodes, hey, Carlton grew up in Bel Air, and although he is black, he knows he's black. He's pretty much, what I want to say, doesn't really play in the race card very much until Will points it out. Things like that. The reason why I say they should just stick with comedy is like I kind of seen this, throughout the years, especially when it pertains to an all-black cast drama situations where writers are pretty much coming back to, race card this, race card that, and it kind of drains on you because you see it, so many iterations of it throughout the years, what have you. But at least in the comedy version, you'll have the comedy, and then you'll have a couple, drama episodes where, things of that nature actually came up in the 90s in the Fresh Prince version versus, whatever, what I just said earlier. But all in all, as far as the first 3 episodes go, they're not bad. A few changes. Jeffrey is now he's not British, he's more, he's Jamaican. Big change on that one. Not bad, but he's barely in it. He's not a butler, he's a house manager. They haven't really asked him about that. The little trouble in the beginning that made him get sent out to Bel Air was, basically he had to get away from a D-boy that, he pointed a gun at him. And so, hey, I had to get away. Jazz that's his name now. It's Jazz instead of Jeff. Probably didn't want to have 2 Jeffs, Jeffrey or Jeff, some iteration of Jeff on there. It's just Jazz. He has I know he had a small role. I wouldn't say recurring role, but just guest appearance here and there. In this one, Jazz is pretty much more. I don't know. He doesn't really have a role per se. He was kind of the Uber driver between LAX to Bel Air, and then he just shows up when Will needs to, get back in the groove of playing basketball. So for his tryouts. Other than that, who knows what kind of character we'll see of Jazz. This one we see more of Hillary. She's not exactly the Valley Girl-esque character we've seen in the past in the 90s. This is more of the... I know this is 2020 and they had to update it, so she's more of the influencer, TikToker. And instead of fashion, she's a foodie, a chef type of deal. And we'll see where her character lies in that. Ashley, haven't really seen much about her. I don't think we're going to have much of her anytime soon. I don't know. I kind of missed the witty banter between Will and Carlton. I don't think we're going to get that. Like I said, this is not a comedy, so we won't get that. We definitely won't hear Carlton say, "Hey, big guy," because this Phil isn't exactly James Ivory Avery. I'm sorry, size. So we probably won't get that. He still have the bald head and the beard. Just looking at the character who plays Phil, definitely look like Tay Diggs. And once again, that's a jab to All American. Don't know how this series is going to play as far as future. How many? I can't remember how many seasons Fresh Prince went, but I don't think this is going to go anytime further than probably won't last 3 seasons. This seems like a 3-season type of series. Will stays there for who knows how long, what have you. You can only go so far on drama versus comedy. So, I will still watch it, what have you, and everything like that. But that's just me. You can check out Bel Air on Peacock, or just wait until it comes out on DVD or whatever means you want to watch it on. So, moving on. Last night, it was the season finale of Demon Slayer. And then a few hours later, obviously we're gonna have a third season with the Swordsmith Village arc, which the action scenes in itself is going to be less of what you expect from the last season. Especially, you all seen the I don't know, people made videos about the animation fighting scenes in that, but you won't get it in this next season because it's not that intense as far as action scenes go. But you never know, they might change it up, what have you. So you gotta wonder how many seasons it will have left, because after the village Swordsmith Village arc, that's kind of a mouthful on that one for me. But after that arc, you gotta wonder, what are they gonna do next? Are they gonna do season 4, part 1 and 2, or are they just gonna do, season 4 movie and then stretch out, make another season of that movie like they did with Mugen Train? As far as obviously, if they, for money purposes, they'll do the latter. But just thinking about it, it's like they would have to do a part 1 and part 2, because that last arc against the remaining upper moons is pretty long, because they have Upper Moon 1, 2, and 3, the new 6. They just killed. It's been a while since the last chapter, so if you haven't read it here, hold on, let me check, because I don't want to be. Because hold on, last chapter of Demon Slayer. 205. So 205 was May 18th, 2020. So that was 20 years ago, 2 years ago. So technically, that was the epilogue chapter. So almost 2 years ago, Demon Slayer ended. So at this point, if you haven't read it, if you're one of those types that only watch the anime, Well, unfortunately, I wouldn't say spoiler warning because, like I said, it's been 2 years. Um, that I mean, if it ended 2 months ago, that's one thing, but 2 years. So I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Uh, Again, if you're the type that only watches anime, um, that I'm not saying there's not something wrong with you, but at the same time, yeah, I'll leave it at that. So with that being said, they killed what was it, 4 and 5 during the um, buh, they killed Upper Moon 4 and 5. I'm blank. Like I said, it's been that long. I know I reread it and completely forgot about it, but I know they killed either it was number 4 or 5 during the Swordsmith arc, and then it just jumps right into the next one. But right in between the final, you know, going after Muzin, excuse me, right after Muzin, it was like a training with all the pillars and everything like that. Right before the attack on the Infinite Castle, Infinite Fortress. I think that's what it's called, Infinite Fortress, and that in itself is pretty long because they go into each upper moon fight depending on who it is. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a two-parter because there's no way they're gonna do a season 3 next, or at least probably the end of this year, or not, either the end of this year or beginning of next. I can't remember what the announcement said. Most likely it's 23. But after that, it's probably, yeah, they should do a part 1 and 2, or at least 1, 2, and then the final movie for the final. I don't know, the 10 chapters, if that. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. So what else? I know trying to fill in the time of everything like that. Uh, Attack on Titan's still going on. I don't give a shit. People are still on ALT's dick as far as that shitty series goes. Memes is funny. Uh, that's the only credit I'll give on that, on Titan. At least everybody who read it, all in agreement that it's shit. The ending just made it shit. The process of Attack on Titan was shit. I mean, it was good for the first, and put it in anime terms. The first season was good up until they had no idea what the fuck they were doing. I don't care if they say, "Oh, it's the greatest character development ever." I'm like, no, it is not. You're literally watching Looper. You're watching if you haven't seen Looper, if you have seen Looper, you know what I'm talking about, because that's what I was reading. I come to find out what I'm reading once I figure out towards the end of what was going on. It was literally a big ass loop. That's what it was. You're watching Looper, because it was, going back to say the first scene was good because there was mystery behind it. There was mystery behind this. That's what it made me kept on going, because you want to know where the hell these Titans are coming from, and everything like that. How big is this world that they're living in? Turns out they're in fucking Madagascar. And the rumbling in itself made no sense because I thought somebody was behind me, freaking out over here. But yeah, the rumbling. I mean, it made sense, but at the same time, it didn't. You know, because you see some of the chapters. You know, you got you know the big giant wall titans. You know, just trampling over people, and you see people getting pushed onto the cliffs like the 300 did to the Persian Empire, and all of a sudden, oh, save the baby, you gotta save the baby, and all of a sudden the rumbling stops, and oh, hey, cool, the baby was saved. Okay, I don't know why they did that scene. Made no sense, but at the same time, I'm looking at how big the world is. It turns out it's one of one, only just flipped upside down, and it's like, okay, then the rumbling didn't really do much. They're going in a circle and then expanding outward. If you look at the world map, or at least their world map flipped upside down, and they're at Madagascar, and they're a diameter being stretched out, and it just seems like, well, they got pretty far, looking at the progression of the story. But I mean, if you really look at the map, and it's like they didn't really get that far. I mean, they just went to, I don't know how far they gotten, but it seemed like they gotten far, but at the same time, it didn't. Excuse me. But and then it just ended. That's that, and then all of a sudden, Aaron just gave him time to better prepare for the world after the rumbling. Say, hey, just sacrifice, say goodnight to the bad guy, what have you. I just gave you 50 years to prepare for an attack on on the island or what have you. Whether or not they make do of that, I don't know. But what was I talking about earlier before I went on that tangent? Right. The mystery. That's what kept me going personally. I think that's what the story in itself made it good, was the mystery of the Titans, what the hell's going on, everything like that. And then once you got rid of the mystery, what's left? There's nothing. The action scenes in itself was mediocre, unless it's Levi. I mean, that's probably it. Him taking out the Beast Titan or running away, getting shot at from, his cousin, Blitner, Klansman, I guess, another Ackerman. So, other than that, other than those two scenes I can think of, yeah, it's nothing. Attack on Titan has nothing. Take away the mystery, and the story just falls flat on its ass. And people think it's the greatest because of character development. The soundtrack, I'm like, come on, there's really nothing there at all. If you want character development, you can watch anything else. I mean, once again, this kind of falls to Evangelion, the end of Evangelion. Just shitty ending. It was shitty ending. If you want to watch a good Evangelion, watch the 4 movies, which totally made up for it. You heard my rant on that episodes back. You should watch that instead of the series, but it makes the ending to Thrice Upon Time made more sense for the series. But in itself, again, if you like Attack on Titan, I think you're weird in that aspect. But the one anime that just came out of left field was My Dress Up Darling. Like, the first couple episodes, it came out, didn't even think about it until, second episode. I'm like, let me check this out. And funny thing about it, once that blew up, the sales of manga just, took off like a rocket, which is amazing. Goes to show you, once you see an anime that's so good, what do? You look for the manga and start reading that ahead, instead of being, oh, I'm gonna wait a year to see what happens next, and you might not get a next because it's like, oh, first season is over, we're not going to renew it for a second season, even though the light novel or the manga is still going. And you guys some people are mad. It's like, oh man, they don't get a second season, I don't know what's gonna happen, and I want to know what happens. I'm like, well, maybe you should read. That should be option number one. It should always be option number one, is to read it. Not because so you can play spoiler. It's like, so if somebody gets on, like I said, for Attack on Titan, oh, it's the best thing in the world, and you're like, well, maybe you should read it and reconsider that statement that you just said. So yeah, Dress Up Darling, pretty good. There's some other ones that I'm watching right now. One that I'm currently reading right now is Lonely Attack on a Different World. Pretty interesting. It's an isekai, clearly. I'm in 100 chapters deep. I haven't saved it because if I save it, it won't save where exactly I am until I bookmark it and then go back to the chapter I was reading just to save where I was at. But anyway, Lonely Attack on a Different World is, classroom gets isekai'd to, they get isekai'd, and he realized what was going on. It's like, as much as I want to, I don't want to go. So he tries to duck out. He goes into the crawl space above it, his classroom. He didn't fully escape it, but because of that, he was the last one to get summoned. And because of that, all the good skills get taken away, and he was just left with, BS skills. And so in order to compensate for that, the god just says, you know what, here, just take all the ones, because you're late to the party, and it was a first come first serve. And because of that, he gets like a skill, the loner, where he can't party, he can't form a party with anybody else, and he kind of levels up slowly. I mean, very slowly, but he's one of those, if you combine all the skills, he's kind of overpowered-ish type of way. And so, yeah, he tends to do that. Right now, I enjoy it. I know there's a lot of other people in the comments saying, this is shit. He's no longer a lonely person and everything like that. But, I mean, if you ignore that aspect of it, it's pretty good. Everybody's annoyed by the class prez. He tends to buckle under the president, prez, what have you, because it's class president. He has absolute weakness because of her. My guess is they're childhood friends. They haven't mentioned that at all, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. But I'm still waiting on the knowledge to drop. But that's that. That's what I'm currently reading right now. I mean, I could talk about anything else, but nobody want. I'm pretty sure you guys would like to hear me ramble on and on and on about certain things, but I won't bore you for that. I just needs to put out something, on the podcast channel. So, I'm filling that void so it's not wasting money and what have you. So, once again, thanks for listening to my monologuing. As of right now, I don't know if we'll do a live show reaction. Normally, we would do this and then go to live action. I think just to keep up with aesthetics, I think we should do a live reaction watch party again. So look for that on the channel. Not this channel, but the YouTube channel. Look for that. I don't have the title yet. So instead of doing a review, like I said, we'll just do a live reaction video and have you. So look for that, subscribe, and hit the notification and everything like that. So once again, thanks for listening to me ramble. Until next time. All right. Okay. Zoom. I want to zoom out. Why is that looking like that? Right.